Hello, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, yes, I've had a haircut. It looks really curly, it's amazing. I'm finally getting around to filming this because I've only just finished the notes, so if I look slightly like watery-eyed because I just had to watch the episode again, episode 8, and that is tough. My heart hurt. Episode 8, I haven't even got episode 7 up, which I'm probably going to do in a bit, maybe tomorrow, I don't know, and I'll have this one up. This one was a great episode. The music was great, the writing was great, and the directing was great. I just think Orphan Black is stepping up their game in terms of script, music, directing. To be honest, after watching this, and I thought this last week as well, I thought I'm not so much worried about the clones because, I mean, I'm worried and I don't want none of them to die, but I'm more worried about people like Felix and Art and Scott and Hellwizard and Adele, who are sort of expendable in a sense, because at least with the clones, sort of, I feel like they could negotiate themselves out of it, do you know what I mean? Like, they have a bit of importance, even if they're like locked up for the rest of their lives, they're still alive, if that makes sense. I'm not gonna chat too much because I found if I chat too much, I will make this video longer than it needs to be. Episode 8, Guillotine Decide, a very good title considering 2 people dying. And one of them I was not expecting. Even though sort of it was a smaller character, I was not expecting it. I sort of was expecting, you know, Jamon, because it was very hinted at. You know what I mean? So let's start from the beginning. Is that better? Yay! So I love the foreshadowing of this episode. We start off with a pan outward shot of a photo on the mantelpiece of Sarah and Felix. All makes sense at the end of the episode. And Mrs. S looking out the window, sort of going from the mantelpiece looking at the photo to the window. And then we see Sarah, she comes in, and I'm like, so good to see you after everything that happened at Dyad in the last episode. It's all dramatic. And then Mrs. S moves from the window to sit in her chair, prepped for a raid with her guns. And then we go to Rachel, who's just taken her eye out, so it's pretty much not that big of a time jump between episodes. And she's bleeding and rolling to the lift, and the door's open. Who comes out? Ferdinand. And I must say, the people who do the CGI on this show are amazing. I mean, besides the fact they do the magic of putting the same person in the same scene, even though you can't have 2 versions of the same person, like, filming it and sort of working out how to, do you know what I mean, how to do that. They also, when we have a shot of Rachel who takes her hand off her eye after she's taken it out, and Tatiana had 2 eyes, so she's obviously not ripped one out, but they had like this kind of cavity hole. It's kind of really hard to describe unless you've watched the episode, but it was so good and sort of so like you could believe someone's just took their eye out, if that's possible. We're not going to attempt to sort of show what it looked like, but, and it's sort of an eerie but sort of visually stunning kind of shot, if that makes sense. And then we see a makeshift surgery in a motel room on Rachel and her eye, and the doctor, who looked really creepy, must I say, filling her eye socket with a kind of fleshy bodily tissue thing. I don't know what it is, but it looked like a piece of body tissue. That makes sense. And I'm assuming episode onward, Rachel will be one-eyed, because from the episode 9 promo, the Space and the BBC America channel promo, her eye is stitched up, so it looks like it will be one-eyed. And I'm like, yeah, I can relate. I only see out of one eye. They swear, but I only see out of one eye. And then Rachel wakes up after the surgery to see Ferdinand, and Rachel wants to know how he knew to come back. And then we switch to Mrs. S and Sarah, and they're on watch for if Ty had come back for Kira, or to sort of punish them for taking Kira, even though like you shouldn't have had her in the first place. It's quiet and nobody's coming for them, but their friends are coming. Like Mrs. S and Sarah's friends are coming, and Mrs. S looks like a woman on a mission. And we see Kira, she's back and she's happy, and I'm so happy. I'm like, yes Kira, thank you. And Art comes and he brings Charlotte, and that's the first time they meet, Kira and Charlotte. And so Kira and Charlotte are going to stay out of the drama, and they're going to go to Art's ex's house to play with his daughter. And then they're sort of talking and they're saying they're a bit worried it's all too quiet, and Siobhan thinks that Rachel has shown the board about Petey's real identity, and that the reason they're being quiet is because they've really been fooled and they're sort of like having to recollect what they're doing, like what we're gonna do now, sort of retrace their footing and sort of plan B almost. And then we sort of, they're talking about Rachel saying that sort of she's now a target now and is a liability for exposing Petey and removing her eye. Oh no, that was at the board, And then we go to Delphine and Cosima. So happy to see them. And I did wonder whether Delphine would end up going back to the island, not knowing that Casima's left. I didn't know whether that communication was good, because Casima only really came back the day before, in theory. But she's with Casima in the underground bunker of the comic store. Delphine sort of mentions how they have this information from Europe that shows a dozen countries have pending legislation like Kuwait. Hundreds of million people are about to be required to submit their DNA, and Neolution is behind it. They need the data. But Casima is just happy to be free and like, yeah, let's just have fun. Whereas Delphine, like Mrs. S, is on a mission. And then we go back to Sarah and Mrs. S, and guess who else is back? Felix! I'm so happy. I love Felix. I love Felix so much. Felix is back, and Adele, and I'm so happy. And I love what he says, this hello North American scum. So happy that Felix and Sarah are back together, because I didn't want to end the series. I have a goal. I have a list of goals that I want to achieve in this series. I wanted Scott and Casima to be reunited. Lovely. I got that. Thank you, Orphan Black. It's like you could read my mind. 2. I wanted Felix and Sarah back together. I got it. Now I just want Helena and Sarah to be reunited, and not just in a convent and sort of say hi and bye. I want a nice sort of babies together again. Lovely. I want that to happen, and I don't want to be disappointed, Orphan Black. I want a happy ending for them. And we find out it's Felix's art gallery showing today. Opening. I keep calling it a showing when it's an opening. And I read, because Orphan Black does like a weekly episode sort of behind the scenes article on sort of an area that was sort of in this episode, and they had one of the script writers, excellent job in this script. The script was so good, saying that by this point in filming they didn't have much of a budget, so sort of sets that they had to be reused. And if I hadn't read that, I would not have known. I want to know how that's gonna work out if they use it in the last 2 episodes, whether he's just gonna have a white loft now filled with nothing. But no, I wouldn't, like the motel scene, I would not have known what that was if sort of I hadn't read it. And then we have a Skype chat. Oh, you do me great. Where have I gone? So then we have a Skype chat with Casima and Delphine, and Felix is sort of saying, oh, you're coming to my art gallery opening and everything. And Casima's a bit skeptical, sort of same with Sarah being like, is it really a good idea at the moment, you know, to have an art gallery opening? And Mrs. S and Felix say it's a great idea, you know, but Casima can't come. And like, why can't I come? And they're like, we don't want no more clone drama, no more clone switching. Can be Sarah there. The Hendrixes are helping set up, and they just need to lay low from any clone drama at the minute. A gallery owner named Ezra Liu met in Geneva, is coming to the show, and you know, he's interested in showing some of his art. And Sarah's still skeptical about whether it's a good idea, saying that if PT has lost the board, he's on the ropes, meaning that it might be a trap. You know. And Siobhan is saying that, you know, they should celebrate and support Felix, saying that Felix and Adele dug good dirt for them, and Delphine showed them what to do with it. At the minute, they're on a good track. They should celebrate how far they've come. Celebrate Felix after he has helped them so much. And Delphine looks touched that, you know, she gets the mention and agrees with Siobhan. And Felix says, well, it's settled. We're gonna take the day off from Crazy. And then we go to Helena, who is with Gracie, who stayed the night. We all know what happened there. She doesn't have any family to go to. She's on her own. She told Helena that Mark died 2 weeks ago. And it seems that we find out that Gracie's just there to stall Helena. I sort of feel sad for her, because in a sense, I feel like this episode features 2 key relationships, 3 technically. We have the relationship between Sarah and Siobhan, Rachel and Siobhan. That sort of Sarah, Rachel, Siobhan relationship, and Sarah and Felix relationship, and Helena and Gracie. And it's sort of the same with the same kind of thing that Helena and Gracie and Felix and Sarah are going through. Helena asks how she found her again, and Gracie remembers that about her talking about the sister Irene, and Gracie says, you don't trust me, I don't blame you after what my father did to you. And Helena's like, he's dead. These are miracle babies. I'll be honest, when I first saw the knife in Helena's hand, I did think she was going to cotton on to what Gracie was doing, but no. She stops Gracie and puts her hand on her belly, and I think it shows how much Helena has grown, that she sort of wants to look after her babies and wants all the family that she can have for them. She wants Gracie to know she will be there, and she says, you still have family, they remember you. I think it's so sweet. I just love Helena. And I think Gracie was expecting the old Helena sort of really sort of be anti her. And then we go to Donnie and Alison, who are decorating the venue for Felix's art show. They're positioning a photo of Helena And Alison is still not telling Donnie what to do. Although I can see moments where she's like, what you're wearing? Felix arrives telling Alison that she can't be there, and Alison's like, why can't I be there? I want to be there. And she's saying, you'll need your sisters. I have a performance idea. And Donnie's like, yeah, she bought the cork. Which is, I would love to watch that. I mean, after their last performance on the Bailey Down Fall Festival stage, I'm not entirely sure they should be doing entertainment, at least not with children around. And then we go to Sarah and Siobhan and Adele, who are making appetizers for the event. And Sarah sort of doesn't want to relax, and it's sort of like she thinks they need to go after Al-Khatib, the neo-bag man who controls the slush fund, according to Adele. And that she's saying that he's so protective it's not even funny. And Sarah's like, if he's bribing governments for citizens' genetics, we've got to go. We've got to. And Mrs. S is sort of saying, leave it, you know, this is Felix's day, and then Mrs. S is going out and to buy flowers, and she'll be back later to see them at the event. And I love how especially the latter part of the series, Sarah started calling Mrs. S mum, and it's all just so lovely. It's just like, oh, it makes my heart hurt. And Siobhan is like, you're a warrior, and I've told you everything I know, and you're right. We can't stand down yet, but that's exactly why I need you at the opening. Look out for your brother. Make sure there's no trouble. Trouble? Always trouble. We go to the Rabbit Hole comic store, and Scott is talking to Cosima, saying they have 144 per player doses of the inoculant. So your culture survives, they can manufacture twice that again. And Scott's sort of like, what are you going to do with it? Go around curing leaders? And Cosima's like, yep, that's the plan. And Scott's like, you know, we still don't know how many are out there. And Cosima wants to find out. I just want to know, is Cosima cured now? Because I can't handle the heartbreak of thinking she's alright and then they take it from under me and she might be dead. Touch wood not. Please, no. I will cry. Seriously, I will cry. And we see Delphine is heading out too. And it's like, to meet Mrs. S, probably. And poor Scott, he thought they were all heading out together to Felix's. And I love the relationship between Cosima and Cosima and Delphine now. It's almost like a sort of, they took what they spoke about on the island and were like, you know, we can either choose to leave it or we can continue, but sort of know their sort of what their relationship is and not trying to sort of change it, if that makes sense. And she says, sure, we have this whole don't ask, don't tell thing going on, and they're sort of on the same page that they both know what this relationship is and that they both want this relationship as well. We go to the motel that Rachel is in, and Delphine and Mrs. S are there, and they're meeting with Rachel and Ferdinand. And Mrs. S is like, we have one shot at this, and if it's going to work, Sarah can't know who we dealt with to get here. Siobhan and Delphine are working on the end goal. I want to know what this end goal is. Like, at the end of this episode, is that like the end goal done? Or what? But can we just say, although Ferdinand Boo is a really bad character, he's a very good villain. I mean, at least he's done bad things for you to think, yeah, I really don't like him. Do you know what I mean? There's no murkiness of, has he done wrong? Has he done right? He's done wrong. He says, I so love being in the middle of all this. I'm like, yeah, of course you do. And then Delphine says the best line out of this whole scene, and she says, it makes me sick to be working with the man who killed MK. I'm like, thank you, Delphine. If anybody wondered whose side she was on, can we just say that pointed it out right there? And we found out that they've got all the information on the money trail evidence, but they need Rachel's help improving it. Mrs. S says, the illusion goes down for good, or we all do. And then Mrs. S and Rachel are going to have a private chat. Then we go back to Sarah and Adele, and it's nice to see them getting along now. Although Sarah is purposely getting Adele slaughtered, we gain info on what Mrs. S is doing. Okay, if anybody who's not British watching this, slaughtered means drunk. Just saying, because I can see how that can get misinterpreted in lots of different ways. We go back to Mrs. S and Rachel, and Mrs. S says, Westmoreland wants unprecedented access to human genetics, and Hashim Al-Khatib was bribing governments worldwide to get it. And Rachel says, but you don't have any record of that, do you? And Mrs. S is like, no, but Neolution wants to sell curated commercialised evolution to the 1% who can afford it, so they can live forever, grow a bloody tail if they want to. The rest of us, Cody's department is targeted for sterilisation. How's that sitting with you these days? You say, my granddaughter, I'm willing to take a gamble on nature over nurture. And she pulls out a USB stick with all the evidence on it. And she gives it to Rachel, saying, this is all the supporting evidence to our claims. And Rachel says, without proof of bribes it will barely carry a news cycle. And Mrs. S says, you're a smart woman, Rachel. Like any good CEO, you kept a shadow file, a record of where the bodies are buried. Give me the proof I need to back this up. Give yourself a chance to be truly free. And then we go to Felix's art opening, and Ali wants Cosima to be able to make an appearance. And Felix is like, I don't want any more clone shenanigans. And I'm like, yes, that's probably for the best. In front of lots of people, even though his whole art exhibit is his extended family. So it's like, but can I just say, I love Felix and Alison's relationship. It's great. I feel like they help each other and they get each other. They're sort of like, they're not yin and yang because they're sort of the same, but they sort of complement each other. And then we see Colin from the mob from back in season 1, and I'm just like, thank you for bringing him back. I love that weird relationship him and Felix had, and I'm just so happy that the thing I love about this show is that, you know, it doesn't all focus on someone having a relationship or so and so. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's his own person. He's a strong individual on his own. Why squash that by having a boyfriend? And like, who says he wants a boyfriend? I mean, I'm talking about fictional characters, but do you know what I mean? But I am happy to see they did bring back Colin, because even if he's just in that episode and we don't see him again, you can kind of imagine when Felix will go on a nice date and, you know, they could end up, you could imagine that goes nice and swimmingly. And I love his intro to Alison pretending to be Sarah, where Felix is like, oh, this is my foster sister Sarah. Colin's like, yes, I remember the time I ID'd your dead body. And Felix is like, yeah, we got over that, didn't we, Colin? And I'm like, yes, I ship that. I love that. So we go back to Gracie and Helena, and Gracie asks about Helena's journal that she's writing in, and Helena tells her that she's writing her life. And I'd like to read that Helena is writing for her baby. It's her joys, her pain and sorrow, so they will walk a brighter path. That line there makes me worry for Helena. And then Sister Irena comes and she's saying, you know, she's going, well, she's not saying because they cut out her tongue, but sort of gestures that she's going to town and that they need to take care of the toilet. Gracie stays behind for the moment to ring Mark, who's not dead, and she tells him she can't find Helena. Mark won't get the cure unless they have Helena. And then she puts the phone down saying she can't find her, that she will try somewhere else. But after Gracie puts the phone down, we see on Mark's end that Cody is there and asks, is she lying? Like, just someone get rid of Cody, please. I mean, great actress, because it makes me not like her, and that's sort of your job because you're playing a bad character. But please, can we get rid of her? Preferably in the next 2 episodes. I don't want to think she's still alive at the end of the series. I'll be like, you're telling me you made that explosion happen in season 3. She was thought to be dead, wasn't dead. Her driver was killed, and she was thought to be taken hostage, not dead. And then she was put in the mental institution. She got out. Now she's on the island. Doesn't die. I mean, same with PT. If they both don't die at the end of the series, I think I might cry. And we go back to the art showing, and Ezra Lude is there, and we find out he has spaces in London, Paris and LA. And apparently Felix oversold himself to Ezra. Alison to the rescue though, and she sort of says use the sisters, got them painted all over the place, use them. And it's close up time. First clone, Alison, Hestia, goddess of peace and home, with the painting of Alison above Alison. I'm gonna call her Aladdin now. And when asked by Ezra where she lives, she says, I live deep in Bailey Down, which is a suburb just north of here. Oh, and this is my husband too. And Donnie's like giving champagne out, and Alison's like, no alcohol for me, I need to drive the soccer bus. Like, oh, Alison. Happy to see, although you've changed a little, we haven't changed completely. And then Felix says identity is a social construct, boys. And then they go into the hallway to swap with Cosima, and obviously Cosima has no clue what Felix is about to throw her into. Felix is like, how do you feel about long stairs and large groups of people? And Cosima's like, oh no, and throws her out. And she's meet a goddess of wisdom and deep thought. That pretty much sums up Cosima. And I'm so happy to see more of Cosima's dancing, because that's something else. That I don't even think it has a style. It's just something completely unique that I've never seen before. And this time she's dancing on top of Rachel's portrait, which is different to the others as it's colourless, apart from the mouth, which is bright red, like bleeding red, and the signature bob. But can we talk about Scott and Cosima dancing together? And then we go back to Sarah and Adele, and Sarah still thinks Mrs. S is up to something with Delphine, and Adele's getting a bit fed up saying, you know, she's at the florist thinking about Felix. Is Sarah thinking about Felix? And Sarah starts talking about Mrs. S's mysterious new source and trying to figure out who it is. But Adele stops her and says about how hard Felix has been working towards the art opening, and that Sarah says if he has a problem with her, he'll tell her. But Adele has a problem with her, and she says the entire time that we were gone, he's been painting you, different versions of you, but you don't seem to care. And Delphine, I don't know if it helps chill you out. All she did was whatever Siobhan told her to. The only thing I know is a phone call about a meeting with a French guy, Francis or Fernando, and Sarah's like, Fernand? She's like, who? And Sarah's like, he killed my sister. And it's all a bit like penny drops with Adele. It's a bit like Adele. She shouldn't have said the French thing. We go to the hotel room with Rachel and Fernand, who still gonna keep that up. And Fernand is going over the evidence that Mrs. S and Delphine gave them. Fernand's like, do you realise what we could do with this information? And Fernand's like, she just gave it to you. Rachel says, she needs me. I'm the one with the smoking gun. And she opens her locket and pulls out a USB that contains name, dates and amount, full record of worldwide influence payments, a shadow file. Fernand's like, I bloody love you. And it's sort of like, although Rachel doesn't say it back, I'm not sure that Fernand is the good person and has a good concept of love. And I think Rachel is a very standalone woman. She's a very complex character, and I think she likes Fernand but isn't willing to go along with his plan to blackmail Neolution. She wants to be truly free. She doesn't want money. She wants the right to be herself, the right to choose to be free and to do whatever she pleases. And then we go back to the art launch, and Felix goes to Delphine and asks her why he's getting texts from Sarah being like, what's Delphine doing with Mrs. S? And Delphine's like, maybe it's because we are up to something. And I find it funny because Delphine is being honest. She's being honest that she's up to something. Nobody asked her what she's up to. And Felix is like, great, that's enough for me. I am back. A bit dark about half an hour later because my battery died. And then bartender Donnie comes over and does tequila shots with Felix and Delphine while Cosima watches, and it's just like bonding. And then Donnie, if he's seen Sarah who's on her way, and he's like, I need to talk to her. And then we go back to Rachel and Ferdinand, and they're setting up a meeting with the board for Ferdinand to meet with. And apparently the board is in disarray and will be easier to negotiate with. Ferdinand says they won't be when they hear we're taking a cut of all their future business, to which Rachel seems weakened by everything that's happened and knows that she doesn't want to agree with Ferdinand. She doesn't want to do it that way. She says, there's another way. We can choose to make my information public. I have a sizable nest egg. It wouldn't last forever, but if we wanted, we could destroy Westmoreland and Neolution, go somewhere warm off the grid. Maybe at the start of the show or this season, Rachel would have been more for taking down Neolution, but now she's realised not about that because they will always own her unless they destroy the whole thing. She wants to be truly free. And then Ferdinand, he wants to destroy Neolution in a different way. He wants to destroy Neolution but let them keep running and take them for all they're worth. He doesn't have cause to take them down like Rachel does. Like, she has a cause to take them down forever and stop them completely. He just wants them to pay him out to keep him quiet. He wants to be rich and successful, whereas Rachel just wants to be free. I'm gonna say free a lot of times. And then we go to Cosima and Delphine, who are looking at Felix's portrait of Cosima. Delphine says, we're on the precipice of being able to do anything that we want. And Cosima's like, what do you want to do with our freedom? And just as Delphine is about to say something, Felix comes over to another clone swap. And Cosima says to Felix, you're one of our best guys. All with Donnie's got an art. And then Felix is like, well, that's exquisite company, isn't it? And then as Cosima and Felix are talking, Delphine reserves the picture of Cosima. And it's all so cute. And Cosima's like, you own me, you're mine. And out goes Cosima, and in comes Sarah. And as she's coming in, we see that Adele is quite inebriated. And Sarah's telling Felix who Siobhan's real source in getting Cody is, Ferdinand. Boo. I see now why they didn't tell Sarah, because she probably wouldn't see it in the same way that they do. But also by keeping it from her, she sort of, when she does find out, sees it worse than probably what it is, if that makes sense. I think her and Delphine are cutting a deal with Rachel. I love Felix, who just can't be dealing with it tonight. And he says, that's terrible, that's brutal, then you're not gonna like this either. And then the curtain's open and she's Athena, goddess of war. Very apt. He says to him, to Sarah, turn around or I'll kill you. It's a bit like, I think Felix means it, don't ruin it. And then we go to Siobhan, who is organising her flowers for Felix and her gun, because you know you organise flowers and your guns at the same time. And then we see her writing a letter to whom I'm not too sure. I'm assuming Sarah and Felix and possibly Kira. And I think at this point she maybe knows there might be a tragic outcome for her, if that makes sense. But I think this is a great episode for Maria Doyle Kennedy. Her performance in it is amazing. Her emotion is so good. Yeah. And then we go back to the art opening, and Delphine has left the building, and Sarah wants to know where she's going, and she thinks something's happening because it's too quiet. I mean, yeah. And Art mentions that Maddie Enger, you know, the copper, though the subtitles on Netflix wanted to call her Maddie Anger, I was like, oh, true, has gone AWOL. And as Sarah is about to leave the art show, Art shows her a painting of Beth that he spotted. Kind of a grounding point for everyone, that none of them would be where they are, for better or for worse, without Beth. And on a curious note, the case file that's on the painting, it says 2014. So, and I know the time frame between seasons and between the start and this season, the third season and this season is like a couple of months. So does that mean this is all meant to be happening in 2014, because that isn't very, like, the time frame isn't very long. So does that mean in theory, technically, this has all happened and it happened in 2014? Because I saw someone's theory, it was on Space. I followed them on YouTube because they do lovely recaps of Orphan Black, and one of the presenters, I can't remember his name, I'll put it here, he was saying he thinks it's all about Kira, like this is just a recap of her childhood, her life, which, you know, in theory it could be. But wouldn't it be cool though if this is set in 2014, we have like a skip forward at the end to them now or something? That's if they all survive. But no, we won't say that. To like a skip forward to see where they are now or something. I think that'd be cool. And then we go back to Helena and Gracie. They're cleaning, and Helena now knows what Gracie's doing, that she's been lying. Clean floor, dirty heart. Found Gracie's phone and listened to Mark's voicemail messages. I think she feels betrayed because she sees Gracie's family, sort of like the other side of her family. Gracie's saying, please, Mark is sick. Cody said she could help. And Helena's like, Cody? We are family. But that's why Gracie lied to Mark, because she realised they were family. And she says, I knew it when I saw you, which is why I told them I couldn't find you. I didn't tell them where you are. But Helena knows they can trace them through it. So they race to leave. And then we go back to Ferdinand Boo, who is having a meeting at the board and things. There are a lot of less members. And they're like, go asides. And it's all a bit like, yeah, okay. And Ferdinand says the best line. That must be like Neolution Black Friday. This shade, titans of industry, sucked in by a lie not even a child would swallow. And Al-Khatib is like, not all of us were deceived, and it's a bit like, okay, save face. You were deceived just as much as everyone else. And then Ferdinand says, oh, Mr. Khatib, with your dirty hands, so glad to hear you say that. Filament eyebrows. And then Van Leer, who's at the top of the table now since he got rid of Evie Cho, Rachel scooped her eye out. He says, we no longer take our direction from Mr. Westmoreland. Show us the evidence and tell us how much you want. And Ferdinand says, enclosed are a list of key patents in 6 areas: food, pharmaceuticals, cloning, gene editing, sequencing, and biosurveillance. Speaking of gene editing, I was watching the news yesterday and they had like the special, like this tidbit about gene editing, and I was like, oh my, this is a bit like Orphan Black, sort of saying all the sort of how it could help people and sort of how it could not, and that the last time people tried gene editing it went really badly, and that sort of how the ethical issues, but also the sort of how it would help people, and that, you know, how monitored would it be. And so Ferdinand carries on saying, so yes, every time a technician blinks, we will get paid. But judging by the size of these bribes, you'll be making billions anyway. And he plugs the USB that he's been given into the computer. Nothing shows up, no files are found. And he's been tricked. The board are gonna make him pay. Then we go to Rachel and Siobhan in the motel room, who are transferring the files because they know Ferdinand that's not the right goal, and they're hoping that the board will kill him. Rachel says he won't be coming back, and Siobhan's like, you're doing the right thing, Rachel. The wrong man. The only one who ever really loved me. And this is one of my favourite lines of this episode. Siobhan says, we do what we can, each of us in our own way, and we do it for each other, chipping at the devil till he's done. A well-written episode, and I love it. And apparently it was co-written by a lady, I can't remember her name, I'm going to write it here, and Graham Manson, you know, one of the creators of Orphan Black itself. And then we go back to Ferdinand and the board tries again to find the files, not there, and the guards try to shoot him, but Ferdinand turns it on them and shoots them, storms out, and Van Leer's like, rest assured, this is not over, we are not finished with any of you, like, great. And then at the convent, Helena has got the food ready to leave, and then she walks into her room to get Gracie and is apprehended by Anger and her goon squad. Also, if you don't know what goon squad is, it's like a bunch of burly men, idiot up in the dictionary. And they have Gracie surrounded, and Gracie's sort of saying, I'm sorry, and Anger is like, you're forgiven, and Gracie's shot dead. That was probably the death that I was not expecting, and I was sort of saddened by it, because I think although Gracie did wrong in sort of trying to turn in Helena, she sort of turned around in the end, and I sort of feel sad because Gracie didn't have anyone. She thought she didn't have anyone until she had Helena, and Helena had to watch her die, be murdered. I'd like to know, what is Mark gonna think, because Mark might not be so willing for that cure. And then we go back to the art opening, and in comes Siobhan with the flowers, and Sarah comes over and she's like, you worked with MK's murderer, and Mrs. S is like, I knew you couldn't stomach it, he was the key to Rachel. And then Felix comes over wanting to know what the hell is going on, and Felix is over, but Felix gets over it when he sees the flowers are for him, not Sarah though. And Sarah's like, what did you pull with Rachel? And Mrs. S says, greatest thing, she gave us the missing piece of the puzzle, full financial records of Neolution's dark money bribe. We've got everything we need, proof of decades of illegal human experiments and of Cody's sterilization plan. We're ready to expose them. It's done. We've been waiting for 5 seasons. I nearly thought we were on 4, but we were on 5 seasons for them to get some justice, and now they just have to dob off PT. And then we go to Cosima and Delphine, who have all the proof and are ready to upload it and send it to all the regulatory and oversight committees in the affected countries, and to all of Siobhan's journalist friends at The Guardian, which is a newspaper in England, in case anybody doesn't know. And Cosima says, you guys did this all this for us. And I love that line because it holds so much depth, because they did do it for all of them, but they each had a personal reason. Like Art had Beth, and Felix and Siobhan have Kira and Sarah, and Delphine has Cosima, and Donnie has Alison. I love the scene between Cosima and Delphine because the emotion on Tatiana's face, because she's so good at showing emotion, and the breakdown after sending it on the internet, and Delphine being able to help her but also revel in this success. It's a good thing. This is a good thing. And then we go back to the art opening, and Sarah has mellowed out, saying that, you know, this is a good thing. And then Siobhan sort of signed to her to smile, is sort of lovely. And oh, I love their relationship. Their relationship has come on so far in the whole show. And then we have Felix's speech, which was some of the best script in this show out of the whole thing. I'm putting it down there. He says, I would like to start by thanking you all for coming, and I'd also like to thank you all for buying. And now is the part of the night where I'd like to introduce my muse in her true form. I'm gonna screw this up. My sister Sarah. My sister and I, you see, I are orphans, you see, and we could have ended up anywhere. We could have ended up in any family, and if we had, we would have been entirely different people. But my mum Siobhan, this woman, called Siobhan, after Sarah up on the stage, and she chose us as her own. We are who we are because she carried 2 little London urchins on her wings to Canada. Watching her raise my sister, watching my sister raise her own daughter, finding my biological sister quite mad, taught me that we are all mysterious works of choice. Nature versus nurture to my galaxy of women. Thank you for the nurture. Beautifully written. I mean, to my galaxy of women. It's like a galaxy of women, and showing just what women can do. What this show #1 represents. Just because you may be male or female doesn't mean you don't have the same rights as sort of anyone else or the opposite sex, you know what I mean? And can we talk about how beautifully it's directed as well as written this season? And then we go to Rachel's motel room, and Ferdinand storms in, boo, and he's on the warpath, and he says, that was a death trap, that meeting. You expected them to kill me. And Rachel says, I told you what I wanted, you chose not to listen. And he says, what, we just ride off into the sunset when everything we have ever wanted was at our fingertips. Rachel says, you expected me to take a payoff. And he's like, that's how we win. And Rachel is like, no, we win if Neolution is exposed and Westmoreland is stripped of his myth. And Ferdinand, and she's like, there's nothing here for you here. And Ferdinand's like, oh, you gave it to her. Obviously, Siobhan. And then Rachel says the line that had me sat there, couldn't watch, you can't hurt me. If we all remember, go back, that is the exact line MK said before Ferdinand killed her. And she was dressed as Rachel. What's going to happen when Rachel says that? Target of his rage. He almost mimics what he did to MK in the sense that he sort of asked her, like, really? I can't hurt you? And then he pretends to snack her, and then he goes for the full attack. He strangles her, and for a minute, he looks like he might just kill her. I don't know, I like Rachel. Rachel is a very complex character, and I think if Rachel were to die, I wouldn't want it to be like that. I have a sort of, you know where you have a vision for someone and you just don't want to die like that. If they were to die, I want her to put up some fight, and I don't want her to sort of cower in the corner. I wouldn't want Rachel to be remembered as weak and defensive character. When you look at the rest of her character arc, she's been a badass like Mrs. S, and he lets her go and he doesn't end up killing her, but she's sort of like a bit shaken. And he storms out. We go back to the art opening with Felix and Siobhan, and Felix are talking, and he's telling Mrs. S how Ezra wants to exhibit his paintings in New York. He introduces Colin to her. It's really sweet. And it's nice that Siobhan sees that Sarah and Felix are happy and she can leave them to face the battle awaiting her. They will survive without her, that they have people there for them. And also, I love how Wizards spin on Tainted Love. That was written by Colwyn Shugard. And then we see Mrs. S watching Sarah, and then she gets a phone call from Rachel to let her know Ferdinand made it out, that he knows she has the files and to be careful. I think Rachel and Mrs. S both sort of know that there's a high chance Mrs. S isn't going to make it out. And I love their relationship. I love the relationship that's developed between them. It's almost like a relationship that Rachel never had with her own mother. And then we go to Siobhan's house, and she knows Ferdinand is already in there, and we see he has a gun. He's trashed her house. Like, were you really going to shoot me coming in my own door? He's like, in the leg. Mrs. S is like, so you do want to talk? And he's like, no, I just want to put holes in you. He's sort of saying, you know, bigger holes than you can put me with that tiny gun. And she says, won't make a difference in the throat. And then she says, oh, we put them down, and they put the guns down. And then Ferdinand's like, what have you done with my future? And Siobhan's like, she's just not that into you. And he's like, I'm not talking about Rachel. Like, oh, the shadow file. So she goes to the bookshelf. Oh, is it on the shelf over there where you stashed the gun I took this clip out of? She's like, no. The thing is, it's all going public right now as we speak. And Ferdinand is like, well, the thing is, if you're going to stash a weapon, you should keep it close to you. And Siobhan's like, oh, that's just a little twisted. He shoots her in the chest. And I think Sarah might have a slight touch of the intuition that Kira had for the session. We go to sort of Sarah, and she's sort of in the exact moment Mrs. S was shot. We see a clip of Sarah realising Mrs. S isn't there. That would be a twist. Sarah sort of has the same sort of intuition. Be interesting to see whether Helena has it too, because that could be the feeling they have. And then we go back to Mrs. S and Ferdinand, and she sits in her favourite chair. She isn't out yet, not going down without a fight. And she asks him, would you pass me a photograph of that photograph at least? Sarah and Felix are the same one she was looking at the start of the episode. And while Ferdinand is distracted, Mrs. S grabs the gun down the side of the chair, and he sort of turns around and says, not on your life. And as he does that, she shoots him. And seriously, when I was writing this line down, I paused it on the exact moment, just as she shot him. So there's all this blood splatter. I was like, couldn't have done that even if I tried. And she shoots him in the neck. And you don't. There should have been recorded evidence of how much I was cheering for Mrs. S. I was like, Mrs. S, yeah! I was like ugly screaming, like, oh my god, this is so good. And it's sort of like, it won't save her, but knowing she took him out is a small mercy. She died knowing he was dead. Just as she shoots him, she's like, quite enough, lip out of you. I'm like, do it in humour. And then she grabs the photo of Sarah and Felix, and she sort of says to Ferdinand, and this is the bit that got me really sort of like choked up. She's like, you know, as a woman, I'm 14% more likely to survive a gunshot wound than you. Maybe not this one, but okay, it's been a good one. And then she says, chicken, I can't deal. Yeah, oh, that hurt my heart. That was episode 8 of Orphan Black season 5. 2 more episodes. I don't know how I'm gonna cope, and I don't know where we're gonna go. Mrs. is dead. What are we gonna do now? Helena's been kidnapped, and she's on the island, and none of them are on the island, and how are we gonna get her back? And I saw in the trailer she tries and stabs her arm with the scissors, and I'm like, come on. We've done a lot to Helena in the 5 seasons. Can we not let her be alright? Same with Cosima. Can we not let her be alright? I have lots of questions. What is going to happen now? I have no idea. Sort of know they're gonna have a funeral for Mrs. S and they're gonna try and get Helena back or whatever. I don't know. And I sort of don't want Helena to die because I feel like Sarah has gone through a lot of loss already. Whether that would be the one that just breaks. And I can't wait to see Sarah take on this matriarchal sort of role. And now with her gone, she's gonna have to take it on. But no, I'm gonna leave it there before it gets any longer. I hope you enjoyed this. 2 more episodes. Oh, thanks for watching. Bye.